The evening sun was sinking low, painting the city park in hues of gold and amber. Children's laughter floated through the air, innocent, carefree, unbothered by the struggles of the world. But for Jake Mackenzie, every laugh, every cry, every heartbeat of his little boy was a reminder of why he kept fighting. He stood near the old park bench, hands rough from long hours of construction work, his faded jacket torn at the sleeves. Yet his heart, strong and unbroken, still carried the warmth of a father who refused to give up. Beside him, his 8-year-old son, Peter, was building a tower of sticks in the sandbox. "Dad, when you finish the new building, will we finally have enough for our own place?" Peter asked, hope shining in his innocent eyes. Jake smiled, kneeling beside him. "One day, buddy. We just have to keep going. That's what your mom, Tyler, always said, never stop believing." Peter nodded, eyes glistening. "I miss Mom." Jake's throat tightened. "Me too, son." He looked up at the horizon, his gaze heavy but calm. Life hadn't been kind, losing his wife to illness, working double shifts to keep his son fed, but Jake had learned one thing: kindness never makes a man poor. That's when it happened. A cry cut through the laughter, sharp, scared, trembling. "Stop. Please, stop." Jake's head turned instantly. Near the swings, a group of older kids were taunting a girl sitting on a bench. She had crutches beside her, and her left leg ended just above the knee. One of the boys snatched her crutch and started waving it around. "Hey, look! She's hopping," he mocked cruelly. The girl tried to grab it back, her voice breaking. "Give it back. Please." Jake didn't think twice. He ran, heart pounding, boots thudding against the grass as Peter followed close behind. "Hey!" Jake shouted, his voice echoing through the park. "Enough!" The boys froze. Jake's presence was commanding, not because of wealth or power, but because of something stronger: decency. He took the crutch from the trembling boy's hands and glared at him. "Does it make you feel big, hurting someone smaller than you?" The boys stammered, their bravado fading fast. Sorry, mister." "Then go," Jake said firmly. "And don't ever do this again." They scattered, vanishing behind the trees. Jake knelt beside the girl. Her eyes were wet with tears, but there was quiet dignity in her face, strength beyond her years. "Hey there," he said gently. "You okay?" She nodded slowly, brushing her hair away. "Yeah, thank you, sir. They always make fun of me." Jake handed her the crutch and smiled softly. "People mock what they don't understand. But you're brave, kiddo." Peter stepped closer, offering a shy smile. "I like your backpack," he said. "It has stars on it." The girl blinked, surprised. "Thanks. My name's Jane." "I'm Peter," he said proudly. "This is my dad, Jake." Jake stood up, helping Jane to her feet. "You're safe now, Jane. Want me to call your parents?" She shook her head quickly. "They're coming soon. My mom's busy." There was something in the way she said it, a hint of loneliness wrapped in politeness. Jake recognized it immediately. "Well, until she comes, you can hang out with us," he said kindly. And so they did. Jane and Peter played together, Peter helping her onto the swing, Jake pushing them both lightly, laughter echoing again in the fading light. Across the street, in a sleek black car, Isabella Grant watched silently through the window. Her driver whispered, "Ma'am, should I step out?" She shook her head, eyes locked on the scene before her. For years, Isabella had built an empire, Grant Enterprises, a multinational company known for its innovation and success. But along the way, she had lost something she couldn't buy back: time with her daughter. Seeing Jane laugh again, freely, after months of withdrawal, brought tears to Isabella's eyes. She had tried therapy, hired the best tutors, even planned vacations, but nothing had worked. Her daughter hadn't smiled this openly since the accident that took her leg. And now, a stranger, a poor man in worn-out boots, had done what she, the powerful CEO, could not. She whispered softly to herself, "Who are you, Mr. Mackenzie?" As twilight deepened, Isabella finally stepped out of the car. Jane's face lit up when she saw her. "Mom!" Jake turned, surprised. The woman who approached them looked elegant, poised, her tailored suit alone probably cost more than his monthly pay. Isabella smiled at Jane, then turned to Jake. "You must be the man who helped my daughter." "I can't thank you enough." Jake nodded respectfully. "Just did what anyone should, ma'am." But Isabella's eyes lingered on his calloused hands, the fatigue on his face, the kindness in his voice. There was something raw and honest about him. "I'd like to properly thank you," she said. "May I offer you dinner, Mr. Jake Mackenzie?" he said, hesitating. "But that's really not necessary." Jane looked up eagerly. "Mom, can Peter come too?" Peter grinned. "I'd love that." Jake chuckled awkwardly. "Guess I don't have much of a choice." Isabella smiled genuinely. "Then it's settled." That night, at a cozy little restaurant near downtown, an unlikely group shared dinner. Jane laughed more in 2 hours than she had in the past 6 months. Peter cracked jokes, spilling water and giggling non-stop. Jake apologized repeatedly, embarrassed, but Isabella only laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years. In the soft glow of the restaurant lights, she noticed how Jake spoke to his son, gentle, patient, proud. It reminded her of the man she used to dream of before success hardened her heart. When the dinner ended, Isabella handed Jake her card. "Please, call me if you ever need anything." "I mean it." Jake smiled faintly. "Thank you, ma'am. But I'll manage." "Always do." Isabella looked at him with quiet admiration. "Not everyone would have stepped in like you did." "You've got a roar." Jack smirked faintly. Convenient story. For a moment, Isabella didn't speak. Then she said quietly, "Leave us, Jack." When he was gone, she turned to Jake. "Tell me the truth." He met her eyes. "I don't know how that happened. But I'd never steal. I've worked too hard for my son to risk everything." She studied him, torn between logic and instinct. "Let me handle this. Don't come to the site until I've sorted it out." That night, Jake sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the wall. Peter came out, rubbing his eyes. "Dad? Why are you sad?" Jake forced a smile. "Just tired, buddy. Go back to sleep." Peter frowned. "You didn't do anything wrong." "I know you didn't." Jake hugged him tightly. "You believe in me, huh?" "Always," Peter whispered. Jake closed his eyes. "That's enough for me." The next morning, Isabella arrived early at the office. Her instincts told her Jake was innocent, but she needed proof. She went through internal reports, cross-checking orders. Hours passed before she found a hidden email chain from Jack's assistant revealing that he had authorized the fake transactions, using Jake's credentials. Her jaw tightened. By noon, Jack was standing in her office, pale, sweating, stammering excuses. "Get out," she said coldly. "You're fired." He tried to protest, but her voice rose, firm and sharp. "You framed an honest man because you couldn't stand being outshined. Leave before I call security." That afternoon, she drove straight to Jake's modest apartment. He opened the door, surprised. "Miss Grant?" She smiled faintly. "Isabella." "Please, just Isabella." He nodded, unsure. "Is everything okay?" She held out a folder. "You're cleared." "It wasn't you." "I'm sorry for doubting you." Jake exhaled in relief, shoulders slumping. "Thank you." Isabella hesitated. "You didn't deserve that. You've given more to this project than anyone else. I want you to keep leading it, officially." Jake blinked. "As manager?" She nodded. "Full-time, with benefits." He smiled, tears glistening. "You have no idea what this means for me and Peter." She looked at him softly. "I think I do." Weeks later, the housing project opened. Families moved in, children laughed in newly painted courtyards, and Jake stood on stage, looking out at what his hands and heart had built. Isabella approached the microphone beside him. This project began as an idea, but it became a symbol of hope. A reminder that kindness can come from anywhere, even from a man who had nothing to give except compassion. Jake smiled humbly. And it taught me that even when life breaks you down, doing what's right will always build you back up. The crowd erupted in applause. Jane, sitting in the front row with Peter, waved proudly. "That's my hero," she shouted. Jake laughed, his eyes misty. "No, Jane, you're mine." Later that evening, as the sun dipped behind the buildings, Isabella stood beside Jake, watching children play. "You know," she said softly, "when I first met you, I thought." Jake smiled. "And now?" She looked at him, her eyes warm. "Now I realize, you helped me. You reminded me what real strength looks like, and it's not power or money. It's kindness." Jake looked out at the families, at Peter and Jane laughing together. Guess we both needed that reminder. As twilight fell, Isabella reached out and gently touched his arm. "Jake, thank you. For saving my daughter that day. For saving me, in a way." He shook his head. "I didn't save anyone. I just did what any decent person should." She smiled softly. "That's what makes it rare." And so, a poor single dad who once sat alone on a park bench found his purpose again. Not through luck. Not through charity. But through courage, compassion, and a moment of kindness that changed everything. Because sometimes, the smallest act, stopping a bully, offering a smile, lending a hand, becomes the spark that lights up a lifetime.